Hello children, I am again with you. I am Amit from KVAMC and we have finished second and fourth units of Macroeconomics, Money and Banking, that was of 6 marks, then Government Budget, that was also of 6 marks, and again this fifth unit, that is Balance of Payments and Foreign Exchange, this is also of 6 marks. Children, remember that these 3 units are very easy. You just need to give some time to these units and even self-study will do a lot. Now let's start with this unit. Again, this unit will be comprising of 2 chapters, that is foreign exchange rate, and the second one would be balance of payments. So let's start with the first chapter, that is foreign exchange rate. Children, if we land up in Canada, suppose we go on a tour to Canada, your parents may give you money, that would be Indian currency. Now you go to any restaurant in Canada and you eat. Then when it comes for payment, how will you pay them? If you pay them in INR, that is Indian National Rupee, I don't think any restaurant is going to accept that. So how will we pay? How people, when they go for tourism in foreign countries, how are they paying there? So in this chapter, we will come to know how this problem is solved. Then children, you may have heard in the news, read in the newspapers that exchange rate, India's currency is weakening, India's currency is appreciating, India's currency is depreciating, $1 has become 75 rupees, 74 rupees, what are the implications? So in this chapter we will be talking about all these things, how these things are happening and how do they affect our economy. So children, first let's start with the definition of foreign exchange rate. So a bookish standard definition is, it is the rate at which 1 unit of a foreign currency is exchanged for the number of units of the domestic currency. So example, $1 is equal to 50 rupees. Now what does this actually mean? Just as we go to the market to purchase goods, we pay some price for it in terms of our currency, rupee. Now similarly, if you want to purchase 1 unit of a dollar, then you will have to give up your currency. So in this case, you have to give 50 rupees for getting $1. Children, it will be very easy to understand this chapter if we assume dollar to be a commodity. Then it will be very easy for us to understand the whole concept. Okay. Now another definition which is required here is the definition of foreign exchange reserve or foreign exchange. They are same. Actually sometimes they ask what is foreign exchange and what is foreign exchange reserve. In short, we call it forex also. So it is a reserve of foreign currencies which is held by the central bank of a country. As we have already studied in money and banking, one of the functions of RBI, Central Bank of India, is custodian of foreign exchange reserves. So all the foreign currency is with the RBI. So whatever foreign currency is, it is not only dollar, remember, it is ruble, it may be yuan, it may be any other currency, real, dinar, etc. So all together the reserve of foreign currency that is held by the central bank is called foreign exchange reserve or simply foreign exchange. Now what are the systems which are working? How are these exchange rates set? Were they same throughout the century, in the ancient times also, or were they different? So children, in earlier times we had gold coins. So gold, whether it is minted in India or anywhere else, more or less the value remains same. So there was no problem of trade at that time. Those gold and silver coins would have been sufficient. But over time, as the countries adopted different currencies, exchange became a bit problematic. Now, how this problem was solved? First, what is the problem? In America, they have dollar as their currency. In India, we have rupee as our currency. In Britain, it is pound sterling. In Russia, it's ruble. So different countries have different currencies. Now, how will they exchange? Suppose you want to import something from America, or you want to export something to America. Now, when you are importing, then you will have to pay the amount to American. Now you will have to pay them in dollars. They are not going to accept your currency. Until and unless we have some agreement with a particular country, we cannot exchange goods and services for our local currency. We have to pay them in dollars or whatever may be the currency which is acceptable. So historically, there have been two exchange rates. First one, fixed exchange rate system, and the another one is flexible exchange rate system. Now first we talk about fixed exchange rate system. As the name suggests, the rate of exchange is fixed in this system. That means it doesn't varies on daily basis. Like nowadays you can see that every day there is a change. Today in news maybe $1 equals to 72.5 rupees. Another day $1 is equal to 73 rupees or so. So these changes do not happen in fixed exchange rate system. But that doesn't mean it doesn't change at all. It may change, but not like the current system. Now again, fixed exchange rate system had two variants. One before World War I and the another one was after World War II. So the first variant was gold standard system. It was a time when most of the countries were printing currencies on the basis of gold exchange system. That is, they were printing currencies equivalent to the gold content. They had to keep equal amount of reserves of gold, and accordingly after that only they can print the currency. Now under gold standard system, we are talking about international trade here. Under gold standard system, every country used to peg its currency. Now pegging is nothing but associating our currency for gold. So every country used to peg its own currency for gold, and on the basis of the gold parity the exchange rates were set. Now let's take an example. Suppose $1, America has pegged its currency as $1 is equal to 10 grams of gold, and in India, Indian government has pegged its currency as 1 gram of gold is equal to 1 rupee. Now the exchange rate will be $1 equals to 10 rupees. So $1 will be exchanged for 10 rupees. So this is how under gold standard system it was working. Then after Second World War, a new arrangement was made, that was Bretton Woods system. This was also called adjustable peg. Under this system, what was happening that USA used to peg its currency against gold, and rest of the countries were pegging its currency against US dollar. So suppose US has pegged its $1 to 20 grams of gold, and Indian government has pegged its currency as $1 is equal to 10 rupees. So ultimate parity of 1 rupee was equal to 2 gram of gold, that is 20 gram divided by 10, that is equal to 2 grams of gold. So ultimate parity was gold, but individually each country was not pegging its currency against gold. So under this system, some flexibility was given. That is, exchange rate was allowed to be adjusted with the permission of IMF. This was not so under gold standard system. So some of the drawbacks of gold standard system were done away with this Bretton Woods system. Bretton Woods is actually a place in America. Now children, what were the benefits of fixed exchange rate system? The first thing was there was no volatility under this system. Like today you see that every day the value of our currency is going up and down, and sometimes it's very high degree of volatility can be seen. So due to this volatility, sometimes especially trade policies, making of trade policies and executing of trade policies is not so easy. You may target your exports or imports to be certain of a certain amount in an accounting year, but due to change in the value of your currency, all the plans may be shattered. So under fixed exchange rate system, this problem was not there. But at the same time, today you can see there are forex currency markets, currency derivatives in stock markets. This was not possible under fixed exchange rate system. Then another one was that under this system, inflation was not there. And balance of payments problem was also up to large extent avoided. Inflation could have been avoided under gold standard system totally. And balance of payments problem was not at all in this system.